Welcome in, everyone. Happy Wednesday. It's me, your boy Ryan, aka Clutch Sports Talk, with another live edition of my show, man. We're halfway through the week. We got tons to talk about today. Some earth-shattering moves that went down earlier on in the NBA just a few hours ago. James Harden shipped off to the Brooklyn Nets to be accompanied with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. We got that to talk about. Some other NBA news we want to dive into as well. We also got the Dallas Cowboys. They hired a new defensive coordinator. Who is it? We'll talk about that. My boy Daniel Cameron from the D Sports Ledger. He'll stop by the show to give you guys some nice betting odds tips to maybe try to put some money in your pockets this weekend. Not giving away picks, but he's going to give you guys some hints to help you make you guys win some money. So sit back and relax and enjoy the show. This is Clutch Sports Talk Live with me, Ryan Flowers. Let's go. Clutch Sports Talk Live with Ryan Flowers is presented by All Pro Digital Sports, the future in sports media content. Let's go. Welcome in, everyone. Again, happy Wednesday. We're halfway through the week. It's my job as the host of this show, of this podcast, whatever you want to call it, to help you guys get through the rest of your week and give you some good sports information and some opinions. And let me know what you guys think. Make sure if you're in the live right now, make sure you leave a comment. Tell me, say, hey, what's up, Ryan? How you doing? And also like. Hit that like button as many times as possible, and make sure you share this live stream to everybody right now, because the more likes and the more shares that we get, the more and more this show will continue to grow. It's already grown tremendously, and it's all attributed to you guys out there taking the time. So if you're not doing anything right now, make sure, put the phone aside, but make sure you're on this channel right now. You're listening to me talk about everything sports related. Like I said at the top of the show, we got some great news, some staggering news. James Harden is out of Houston. He was traded to the Brooklyn Nets for some other players, and I'll talk about that as well. What's that dynamic going to be like? I don't know, man. And Kyrie Irving, he's got some other issues too as well. Before James Harden gets there, he's going to have to sort through out as well. We got the Dallas Cowboys. They hired a new defensive coordinator. Like I said, we'll talk about that. And of course, my boy Daniel Cameron from the D Sports Ledger, he'll be in the building tonight to give you guys some tips and some hints to make your bets this weekend going into the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. So, man, what's up? We already got someone in here already. Beck Richardson, what's up? How you doing? What's up, girl? How you doing, man? Thanks for joining the live. So, hey, make sure you guys are out there like that, man. Appreciate the support. But first things first, it's Wednesday. I'm tired. I don't know about you guys. So after this live is done, I'm probably going to go out and relax a little bit. But other than that, let's get straight into the show. So if you don't know, if you're just getting home from work or whatever you're doing, James Harden is traded. He finally made it out of Houston. Now, they lost to the Lakers last night. He made some comments basically saying there was really anything that this organization could do to make this team any better. And basically, the defenses could not be mended. And so, therefore, strictly after that, a press release was released by the Houston Rockets saying that they would basically keep James Harden away from the team while they worked out a trade. Things escalated quickly, and boom, just like that. But 3 hours ago, James Harden has been shipped off to the Brooklyn Nets. Wow. So I know what a lot of you were thinking, and I've seen it all over social media already. How is this going to work out? Now, on paper, I mean, definitely Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving. Just give them the championship right now, right? That's what most of you are thinking, right? But and there's another group of you that are thinking it's not going to work. And I think I'm part of that group that's thinking it's not going to work. Now, for video games, yeah, if you're playing 2K, yeah, this is a great team to play with. But in 2K, you don't have to worry. When I'm talking about 2, I'm talking about the video game. When you're playing NBA 2K, you don't have to worry about dealing with personalities. And now Kyrie Irving, who is a whole problem in itself, is a company now with another head case of some sorts in James Harden. Now, it hasn't been, recently he's kind of been of a head case. He's been a model citizen for the most part during his tenure in Houston. But now, as he was getting tired of management and not winning, blaming other people, forcing a trade for this player and that player. Now, Russell Westbrook has left. He's in Washington, and James Harden was left there standing with no one. They make a trade for John Wall. We all knew that wasn't going to really work out. And so now John Wall is left there and without James Harden, but they do get a really, really good player in Victor Oladipo. My sentiments are that, well, I'll tell you that here on the back end. Let me just get straight to James Harden and the culture in the NBA. Now, I was watching one of my favorite sports host today and Colin Coward earlier on this morning, and he brought something up that I've been thinking about for quite some time. Now, the culture of the NBA is a lot different than most any sports that we have around the world, at least in the United States. You got players, they speak freely, they demand trades, they hold out, they do all this. And basically teams and the media, they have to walk around eggshells in order for these guys to play nice. Now, James Harden, he's been there a while. He was drafted by the Thunder. He signed with the with Houston Rockets, became a superstar after that. He carried that team to some prominence. He put Houston on the map. They had some really solid teams while he was there, and they just never got it done. They never made a finals appearance. He won an MVP, scoring titles, etc., all that good stuff. But you look at James Harden, you look at Kyrie Irving, you look at other players in the past. But I'm going to keep my focus on James Harden. Look, dude, like you have been given a lot of tools. You were paired with Chris Paul. It didn't work out simply because you just didn't want to play defense. And we all know now that James Harden does not have that, I guess, a clutch gene. He's a great scorer. He's a tremendous talent. That we know for sure. There's no denying that on the court, this dude is tremendous. He's a tremendous scorer, and no one can deny that, right? But as a teammate, he hasn't been the best teammate. The way he came into training camp, overweight on purpose. And then he dropped like 40 points 3 games in a row, letting everyone know like, hey, I could still do it. But then after that, he's tailed off. His last 3 or 4 games, he's averaged at least under 15 points, which is not normal for James Harden. And now he basically, badmouth talked the team. He's out of there. Now he goes to Brooklyn. Okay. So you think the problem's over? No. The fun is just beginning. I think this is going to make a very interesting rest of the NBA season. And I think, with him, Kevin Durant, and James Harden now. So first of all, you got Kevin Durant, who's probably one of the softest athletes that we've seen as far as not on the court, but mentally in social media. Does not take a liking to criticism, claps back at anybody that says anything about him. Now, he left the Golden State Warriors to go to Brooklyn to play with Kyrie, which for some reason, I don't even know why that even occurred. But anyway, now Kyrie Irving on the other hand. Here's a guy that pretty much he's burned his bridge every team that he's been on and left. He's starting to do that now. He's missed games now. He'll miss 4 straight games tonight, I believe, because of some personal reasons. I know last week he didn't want to play because of what happened at the Capitol Hill. And I'll talk about that here shortly. But will this dynamic work? I don't think so. The Brooklyn Nets are already struggling already. I mean, it's still early in the season. It's been 9 or 10 games, and I get all that. And, they still got to kind of get to know each other, one another while they play on the court. But I just don't think that there's one ball, and James Harden is ball dominant. Kevin Durant is pretty much ball dominant. Kyrie Irving, he's pretty ball dominant as well. And they all have separate egos. Now, I know James Harden and Kevin Durant played before together, but that was a long time ago. That was before neither one of them had really become a superstar. They were all young players drafted on one team with Russell Westbrook to play. They were the young guns of the NBA. Now, since then, all those guys have moved on, but now Harden wants to take another crack with Kevin Durant to try to win a championship. If anything, I'm surprised that Kyrie Irving wasn't moved, but they kept him. So what it is. The problem with the Brooklyn Nets is that right now they can't stop anybody. They have no defense. And now you've added a guy that doesn't play no defense, who's notorious for playing that Olay style of defense. And what I mean by Olay style, I'm talking about like a bullfighter when the bull's coming into the ring. He's got that big, whatever you want to call it, that carpet. I don't know what you call it. And basically he just says, Olay, just go to the rim. And that's what James Harden is providing for you now. So, they didn't really, they picked up a superstar. That's great. But one thing we've learned with the NBA is that sometimes you can have too many superstars on one team. Will everyone be able to identify their role and actually accept that role? It's going to be fun to see. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, well, they're going to completely suck. No, I think eventually they're going to win games because guess what? They're talented. These are 3 talented individuals, right? James Harden is an MVP. Kevin Durant he won the MVP. Kyrie Irving is one of the greatest finishers that we've seen in the NBA in quite some time, but they all have different psychological factors that I think at some point it's going to come to a head and it's going to look ugly. Now, can they make the finals? Yeah, they probably could because they're talented enough, but will they make it? I don't know. I don't think this is going to be a very successful season. You got a rookie head coach in Steve Nash, who's basically kind of like, well, I've never coached before, because he's Canadian. And now he has to basically manage 3 talented guys who all have something to say. So I don't know. I think the Rockets pretty much got the better end of this trade. Let's see here. What are the actual facts on the actual trade here. So the Nets will get Karis LeVert, who's a really good player. Redonian Korukus, I don't know who that is. Jarrett Allen and Torian Prince are going to Cleveland. Dante Exum will move from the Cavs to the Rockets, and the Rockets are going to get. They're going to trade. The Rockets are trading LeVert to the Indiana Pacers for Victor Oladipo. So I think the Rockets are pretty much in a better place now. They've basically jettisoned this cancerous type of player who really didn't do anything at the end of the day to help your organization win a championship. So why keep him around anyway? There've been in the past guys that have asked for trades like Anthony Davis, but at least I'll give Anthony Davis some credit. He was a man. He played through his contract, and he said, you know what? I'm going to play my heart out, and when it's time, you guys just trade me to the Lakers, and we'll be good to go. Nah. James Harden didn't want to do that. Showed up overweight, going to strip clubs, doing whatever craziness, forced his way out. And I believe in karma. What you do now is going to come back to you at some point and some time. That's just my opinion on that. But I think, you look at the Houston Rockets kind of core. And it's funny, when Boogie Cousins comes out and he's more of the reasonable person, you look pretty bad, James Harden. Because reasonable and Boogie Cousins usually don't go together. Right. So you look at that team now, you got Boogie Cousins, who looks pretty healthy, John Wall and Victor Oladipo. Not a bad pairing and not a bad tandem. Can they win the West? Nah, I don't think so. The West is still strong, but at least now this team can come, they can gel, and they can start playing with each other. So that's just my thoughts on that. So moving on to Kyrie Irving, it's been reported now. First of all, he's missed 4 games. It started last week with the whole Capitol Hill rioting. He decided that he wanted to play. Because of that, I'll touch base on that in just a second. Now, a video has surfaced with him attending his sister's birthday party with 15 or more people in attendance and him not having a mask. Now, if you're familiar with the NBA protocols, NBA players are prohibited from actually attending any type of clubs, lounge, parties exceeding 15 or more people, et cetera, et cetera. Why? Because last time I checked, there's a pandemic going on, right? Okay. So now they're investigating that. But let's go back. Let's rewind. So last week he missed the game because of the Capitol Hill rioting. Don't get me wrong. What happened that day was pretty shameful. I'm not going to say that. I mean, I'm not going to discredit that. But last time I checked, I still had to go to work the next day. And I'm pretty sure most of you had to go to work the next day. Now, I'm pretty sure I couldn't text my boss or email anybody and say, hey, you know what, guys? I was saddened by the attempts and the rioting that happened in Capitol Hill. So I'm going to call out today. I'm not going to work today, but can you guys still pay me? Yeah. Let me know how that worked out for you if you even attempted that. So this is what I'm talking about with the NBA. And these guys are so babied, man. Like, you get paid millions of dollars. I get it. If it affected you at that point, it is what it is. But grow up, bro. Be a man. Play the game. Okay. People pay to see you. I know there's not fans in the stands, but people pay subscriptions for NBA Game Pass, yada, yada. They buy your merchandise. And for you to just, if it bothers you that much, man, just quit the whole season. He was against coming back from the restart of the bubble last year, which, he was hurt anyway, so it didn't matter. And now you got this crap like this where he's talking about, well, he's socially woke, and I get all that. Being woke and all that, that's great. But you still got a responsibility. Your job is to play basketball. If you want to be an activist in your own time, that's great. But you're a basketball player. I'm not saying shut up and dribble because I'm not all for that. I feel like if you have a voice, you have a platform, use it. But other than that, it's like, dude, how can you miss a game because that happened? Just think about that. How many of you have missed work because something look what happened in 2020, all that stuff that went down. I swear, none of you probably, me including myself, I couldn't just reach out and say, hey, I'm going to miss today because, I'm part African-American, so I feel slighted, so I'm not going to work today. Come on, man. It just doesn't send the right message. So if you guys are in the live, man, make sure you leave a comment. Let me know what's up. Appreciate you guys. Make sure you like and share this live stream right now. I'm streaming on Facebook and Twitter at the same time. So make sure you guys get that out there. But Kyrie Irving, it's like, dude, the way he threw LeBron under the bus when he left Cleveland to get out of there, and then he goes to Boston. There are reports that he really wasn't a great teammate, and now he's in Brooklyn. He's not being a really good teammate there, and he still is there. He's one of these guys that is a tremendous talent, but he can't get out of his way. He just can't. And unfortunately, it's going to end bad for him at the end because he feels privileged right now. And this is part of being rich and being a millionaire and having some privilege. He feels like he can say and do a lot of things, and it won't catch up to him. But eventually, it will catch up to you because you know what? There's going to be a day and time where you can't dribble the ball anymore, and no one will care, Kyrie Irving. So I'm not saying shut up and dribble, but in this case, he just needs to shut up and dribble at this point in time because he doesn't have that clout to me, or I don't even respect him enough off the court to listen to anything that he has to say because his validity is not where it needs to be. His credibility is this much. So, and then so, I mean, other than that, I'll close out with this with Kyrie Irving. It's like, again, another talented guy, but this is a guy that thinks the world is flat. And if you think that, I mean, great. I appreciate you joining the show, but the world's not flat. So I'll leave it at that. So moving on. And like I said, later on towards the end of the show, my boy Daniel Cameron, he'll be on the live stream to give you guys some hints and some tips. Possibly if you're making some bets this weekend for the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. So, all right. Adam Silver and the NBA, they're starting to crack down and create some more protocols for the COVID-19. Now, I don't know if you've noticed in the last couple of days or so, actually a week or two, some games have been canceled because teams don't have enough eligible players to play. Why? Because a lot of them have tested for COVID. You had teams only showing up with 6-7 guys to play a full game. And so now the new rules that are coming out is that players at one point this season, they were able to have at least 2 close relative or friends visit them in their hotel rooms while they're traveling away. Now that's done. The other rule is that now players, if it's not a non-team activity, they have to stay in their rooms. They got to stay in them. I get what they're trying to do because they need the season to go on without a hitch. The NBA did a really good job with the bubble, no positive tests. And now they're playing, back in their regular surroundings, and you got tests out the wahoo, positive tests out the wahoo. So they're trying to get a grapple of all this. But this is the problem with Adam Silver and the NBA, what I think is going to happen with them eventually. You've given the players too much power. I'm not saying the players shouldn't have any power because they're the ones playing, but now there's players that kind of lashing out saying, well, I'm not going to stay in my room for 6 to 8 hours before tip off. Like, I'm going to do what I got to do. If not, we shouldn't have played the season. And this is what happens when you friend all these other types of players, and now they have a strong voice, and literally they're more powerful than the commissioner is. That doesn't work in football. It doesn't work in basketball, in baseball. It doesn't work like that. And I'm not saying these guys are indentured servants or anything like that, but there needs to be some type of line like, hey, I'm the commissioner. What I said goes. And that's great. You have an opinion, but we can't have, this anarchy or people just popping off at the mouth just because they can. But this is the culture that the NBA has created. And, I really, since towards the end of, what was the name of the commissioner before he passed away? His name, jots my memory, but Adam Silver really is like a player type commissioner. He wants to friend all of them. He wants to have a really good, I'm not saying you can't have a good relationship with these guys, but the fact of the matter is it's like they call the shots. And that's why guys like James Harden and Kyrie Irving, they can do what they want to do. But I hope that they get this COVID-19 situation down pat because we do want to see some games. We don't want to see a lot of games being canceled just because guys can't just really chill out. If I got to chill out, then you got to chill out. So just stay in your room. You're staying in a nice hotel. You're flying first class, where a chartered flight somewhere. Just chill out. Put on your mask. It's okay. FaceTime your people. What are you doing anyway? Why are you visiting with friends a few hours before the game anyway? Your mind should be locked in on the game. That's just my point. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that. All right. My Dallas Cowboys, man. Whew. Like I said, we got Daniel Cameron. He's going to be joining us here shortly. From D Sports Ledger, but the Cowboys, they fired Mike Nolan last week. Now they hired Dan Quinn, the former defensive coordinator of the Seattle Seahawks when they were the Legion of Boom, and then most recently he was the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. Now he's the head coach. No, he was fired, and now he's the defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys. How do I feel about that? How most of Cowboy Nation, I would say, isn't really excited about the pick. I mean, the guy just got fired. And his defense really wasn't the best defense. But I will say this, it will help them in their scheme. They're moving back to a 4-3, 4 down linemen, 3 linebackers. So the guys like DeMarcus Lawrence can get his hand back in the ground, line up in the 3-point stance and get after the quarterback. So that does kind of help. I think this is a two-part equation. Yes, they needed to get rid of Mike Nolan for sure. I don't know why they even hired the guy. I get it. He was friends with Mike McCarthy, whatever. You're trying to hook the homeboy up, whatever. I appreciate that. So you hired Dan Quinn, which, it's worked for actually Nick Saban. If you think about what Nick Saban does, he gets guys that were ex-head coaches, brings them in like a coordinator type of position, kind of gets them, he kind of like nurses them back to health and sends them back into the world. like Steve Sarkisian, Lane Kiffin, et cetera, et cetera. I think the problem with the Dallas Cowboys is that not only will it work, maybe it might work, maybe his schemes might work, but their personnel just really isn't that good. I mean, if you really think about their safety help is terrible, their corners are so. Diggs was a rookie, had a decent year, but got picked on a lot. Guys are always hurt. The linebackers really haven't done anything. Vander Esch is always hurt as well. And then you got Jalen Smith, who really, really is up and down. So I think this hire, it's not a flashy hire, but I will say Jerry Jones does fall in love with names and I'm thinking maybe he's like, well, Dan Quinn had that success in Seattle with the Legion of Boom, but guess what? You don't have those types of players in Dallas. You just don't. And so if he's thinking he can resurrect the Legion of Boom in Dallas, I really don't think that's going to happen. But I could be wrong, but hey, it is what it is. So we're going to see what happens. I'm not going to get down on the pick. I'm not going to get down, but I will say that it's going to be a wait and see type of situation with Dan Quinn and the Dallas Cowboys defense, because I mean, the facts of the matter is that their defense just sucked. Straight up, they just sucked. So that's just me. I don't know anything, but anyway, other than that, man. All right, well, let's get Daniel Cameron up in the building here. Let's make sure he's up and ready to go. Let's see here. All right, there he is.
What's up, my guy?
How you doing, Daniel?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Good. Thanks for joining us, man. For you guys who don't know, if you missed out the show last week, this dude is one of the best handicappers that I've met, in all of the world, right? He's a legend. His name is Daniel Cameron. He runs the D Sports Ledger company, where basically, he's a handicapper. He does picks. He sells picks. He came on my show last week. We talked about the wild card round. He was giving out some hints and some tips. So if you're in the live right now, go get your notepad. He's not going to give you picks, but he's maybe going to talk. We're going to talk about the game, break down some stuff. If he wants to give picks, that's great. But we're going to talk about the games and see how it's going. So how did your weekend go last week, Daniel?
Well, it went pretty good. Yeah, it went pretty good. I'll tell you, the Steelers, man, I went against a lot of people in that one, and the turnovers, man. I mean, they still put 37 on the Browns. I mean, people are talking about the Browns like they're world beaters. It's like, still allowed 37 points. I mean, so that was the game that hurt me, but I did really good on all the other games. So
I saw that. What game really surprised you the most out of this wild card weekend?
Well, probably that same one.
The same game?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like I said last time, I thought Kevin Stefanski was the best coach the Browns have ever had in their history, and I'm sticking to that. And I'm especially sticking to it now. You had, he couldn't coach in the game. They couldn't practice all. They couldn't practice all week, and somehow he got that team to still stay focused and beat. I mean, put a licking on the Steelers. I mean, that was impressive. And I just didn't know that they could do that without Dan, and without Kevin, I should say. And I'm even more impressed with Kevin Stefanski now.
Oh yeah, I think with him, even though he wasn't, I kind of relate what he is doing in Cleveland with like a parent. Like the parents go away for the weekend, you leave the kids at home, and you trust that they're not going to burn the house down. And I think he raised them up now and taught them the right way, so that way he had to go away for the weekend and they did what they needed to do. I think in any other time that team would have folded like a cheap lawn chair. So kudos to him, man. I thought he's done an exceptional job. If he doesn't win Coach of the Year, I don't know who should really, but I mean, there's some other guys that really did a good job this year, like Brian Flores. I mean, even Ron Rivera, given the fact what he's had to go through with cancer and all that. So, but Kevin Stefanski, for my money, I think should probably win it. So, all right. So we got some
100% now.
Right. Exactly. So we got some wild divisional games going up. Saturday. It starts Saturday. We got the first game out the chute. The LA Rams, Green Bay Packers. What are you thinking? What's your preparation going into this game if you had to pick it?
Yeah. So in this game, I talked about what my computer spread was versus Vegas spread. Vegas has this game at Packers at 7. It went down to 6.5, but 6.5, 7, whatever. And I agree with Vegas. I got it at 7 points too, as far as the talent level goes. But yeah, I mean, I expect the Pack in a big way in this game. So
Do
yeah,
you
that's
think the Rams are going to be able to run the football effectively? We know that, the Packers, in recent dates have struggled against teams that maybe we're going to run a physical style of brand of football. You think that's going to play a factor?
we'll see. We'll see. Cam Akers. I said after the draft, I thought he was my number one running back in the draft, and
Right.
I took that back about halfway into the season. But now he's ramping it up again, and we don't know. Maybe he is the best back in the draft.
Right.
We'll see. I mean, they need to give him the ball early and often. I think. Yeah. I mean, it just depends on Cam Akers, I guess.
And I guess John Wolford is probably going to get the start. I mean, they haven't really announced it yet, but from what I heard is that if he's healthy or decent, he's going to get the starter over Jared Goff.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't like either of those quarterbacks too well. I mean, I do love Jared Goff when he's completely healthy. I mean, I think I
Right.
like him more than a lot of people do, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough, man. In Green Bay, in the snow. Or I don't know if it's going to be snowing or not, but
It's going to be cold. I know. I think the
it's
last
going
time
to
I checked,
be
it was going to be like 27 degrees.
yeah, it's going to be cold. I don't know, man. I know that the spread to me feels right, but overall, I think the Packers in a big way in that game.
Right.
I don't
All
think
right.
the Rams are going to keep up with them.
All right. We got Matthew Spates. He's in here. He says Packers 6.5. Good pick. I believe that line is low. Easy steal, easy win. I kind of agree with that. If it's only 6.5, I think they should easily cover that one. So good looking out, Matthew Spates, man. Appreciate you. He went 6-0, he said last week. So good on him.
Good job, Matthew. Props.
All right, so we got the next game Saturday night at 8:15, 5:15 Pacific Standard Time. This is a big one. Baltimore and Buffalo. There might be some snow. 40% chance of snow. Lamar Jackson has never played in the snow. Does that kind of change? I mean, your factor as far as who might win or who might cover in this game?
No, I mean I think the snow helps Baltimore, to be honest.
Yeah, I think so too. With a
And
physical team that runs to run the ball.
This opened at Buffalo -2. It's now Buffalo -2.5. My computer actually has Baltimore -3, so I actually am quite a ways off from what Vegas thinks.
Oh, wow.
But having said that, again, I do like. I think I do like Buffalo in this game. Buffalo's just all year long, man. It's just been one mission, one focus. The team, from the owner down to the grounds crewmen. I mean, they're all on the same page. They
Right.
turn the same page every day. They turn the same page in the book every day. They're just focused. They're on the same everything. Then they're on the same level. And they're very well aware about how many turnovers Baltimore has forced. And it could be tough, though. I mean, the one X factor is it's hard. You saw LaShawn McCoy a few years ago have seemed like 300 yards. I think it was like 240 or something, and 3 touchdowns in the snow.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite games ever. But that just shows you how the defense, it's hard for them when you're running at them to adjust because they slip and the offense doesn't.
Right.
Which is,
they know where they're
that's
going
been
with the
talked
ball.
about on ESPN as well. That's nothing new. But yeah, so I think that's the one problem. Buffalo really, I think what they need to do is they need to make sure that they tackle at the point of attack. As soon as they catch it, they can't allow like an extra 2 yards.
Right.
You got to tackle them right at the point of attack. And, because, I mean, the other thing is with John Harbaugh, he goes for it a lot on 4th and 1 or something. So, you can't allow 1 or 2 extra yards because you need it to be 4th and 3 so he'll punt instead of 4th and 1 or something like that. So it's going to be a tough game, but ultimately I think Buffalo. I like Buffalo in that game, I believe.
Buffalo. Yeah. I think the snow, I think it does help Baltimore because they're going to want to run the football anyway. And that's their strength of that team. Like, and so, and when you're on offense, you know where you're going with the ball. So on defense, you kind of have to be like on your back heels a little bit because you don't want to make a misstep in that snow. It's going to be a good game. I honestly, I think I like Baltimore. Honestly, I mean, Buffalo. It's going to come down to what quarterback can make the big play, and I think maybe Lamar Jackson might have one big play that might help seal the deal for them. But well, that's why they play the games, right? I mean, that's why they
Well,
line up.
the
So
other thing is if it ends up where they're running it all the time and Buffalo can just they know the run's coming and they can just stack the line.
right,
I like Josh Allen to still be able to throw the ball. You know what I
true,
mean, and get some
true.
big chunks. So in that case, uh, I do like the Bills. And
Yeah, no,
he's played
and
at
that's a valid
Wyoming.
point.
I mean, there's no
Right,
place
he's
colder
used to
than
playing that.
Wyoming.
Yeah, and Laramie. Yeah, if you've ever been to Laramie, Wyoming,
Don't.
um, don't go. No, I'm just kidding. But when it snows out there, dude. Like it snows. I visited. Wow, it was years ago, man. I don't even know why I was even there. But it was this. I don't know. It was like a winter wonderland. So he's used to playing those types of conditions, and that's why I think that why they drafted a guy like that. He's big. He's strong. He can play in those types of conditions. So I mean, yeah, I can definitely see how the edge can go to Baltimore. I mean, excuse me, to Buffalo. So but that I think is going to be a very exciting game. Speaking of exciting games, the next popular game of the weekend is the Sunday morning game or Sunday afternoon game. The Cleveland Browns travel to Arrowhead to face the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, obviously, we all know that the Cleveland Browns just came off of a very stunning win against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Well, I wouldn't say that much stunning, but impressive win over the Steelers. Baker Mayfield, no turnovers, 3 touchdowns. The running game was on point. Their defense looked pretty good. Now they got their hands full this week with Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, and that running back might be back too. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, it looks like
Oh yes,
he's probably
yes,
going to be back too. So he by all accounts this year he's looked like the best running back in the draft this year.
right,
And but man, this is an interesting game. Uh, the thing I worry about is Cleveland did still give up 37 points. I think with Kevin Stefanski there, though, they'll be less likely to give up garbage yards and points. Because
right.
you can't, obviously, we saw what happened in Kansas City last year. They went down 24-0 and still won. So you can't do that. You can't give up any kind of garbage stuff to the
Right.
Chiefs. And then just the fact that I don't know, man, like that. I don't know which way I'm going on this game yet, but there's definitely some holes in that Cleveland defense, and I don't know, man. I think Kansas City, they're at home. They might
They
lay
haven't
it
played
on them
well the
today.
last month, but we got Charles Harris writes in. He says they're going to get their ass worked. The
Yeah,
Browns
hey,
are.
you know,
That's funny.
I can't disagree with that. I'll put it that way.
I think there's a shot if they can run the football the way they have been, they definitely can
Yeah,
keep the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hands, therefore shortening the game. But that's a big if. Now, if it turns out into a shootout, there's no way Baker Mayfield is going to be able to compete with Patrick Mahomes. There's no way. So this game's going to come down to if they can run the ball efficiently and effectively in order to keep the ball away from him. I mean, and that's your only game plan. Did you hear what Kareem Hunt he wrote on Twitter? He's basically saying he can't wait to play them. It's personal for him.
yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
dude, it's like, shut up, man. Like, it's personal. How about you don't beat women in public or beat women in general? Like, dude, like, why would you even touch a woman like that? So why even clap back at the Chiefs? What did you expect the Chiefs to do once they saw that video?
Right.
Keep you? I mean, so I don't. When will these guys learn when to just be quiet and play? You got Juju last week talking crap, and then his boy Chase Claypool after they lost talking about, oh, they're gonna get clapped. Um, I don't know, man. This is just a different generation of football players. I'm not with it. I'm just not with it. But
Well, the
maybe I'm
Chiefs, they're not getting into that. They're not getting into
no.
that trash talk.
And
We'll see when you get here.
right, exactly. And that's how it should be. Like, catch me outside. How about that type of situation?
Right.
Like, why go on social media and say it's personal? Dude, it's your fault why you got released. You beat a woman, drug her through a lobby in a hotel. What do you think was going to happen? They were going to, order you an edible arrangements and say, hey, it's all right, bro. Like, it's cool. Like, no, like, get out of here with that. So, All right, man. We got one last game here. Tampa Bay. This is going to be another good one. Tampa Bay versus New Orleans. Tampa Bay obviously is 0-2 against the Saints this year. Both quarterbacks are 40-plus years old. Tom Brady does look like he's playing better football. And the Saints, I wouldn't say they struggled against the Bears, but that game was kind of like in the waning moments, just a little bit. What do you think?
Yeah, so this is another one. I have the Saints as having the most talented roster in the NFL. So I
Right,
have them
think a
as
lot of
six. I
people.
have them as 6.5-point favorites instead of Vegas has Saints as 3-point favorites. But yeah, it's an interesting game. Man, the Buccaneers, man, they are so hit or miss this year.
Right.
Uh,
I mean, they haven't really won any against any playoff teams yet, really. Like in the regular season, at least. I know they just beat the Washington football team, but they haven't played anybody that was. Oh, they haven't won against anyone other than the Packers. They pretty much dismantled the Packers earlier on in the year, but since then they haven't beat the Saints. They lost to the Bears. Who else did they lose to that was really of significance? Man, I can't think right now. But yeah, finish your thoughts. I'm sorry.
yeah, they're very Jekyll or Hyde.
Yes.
And so I don't know. I don't have a feel for this game yet. I don't know which way I'm going to go on it just yet. But
Okay.
Saints at home, more talented roster. Right now, I mean, I'd probably be leaning towards the Saints. But I can't really conclusively say which way I'm for sure going to go yet.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's like you said, they're a Jekyll and Hyde team.
All these games I may change my mind on. We still have a couple of days.
Right. It's still early. I mean, I know it's Wednesday, but we still have time to still developing information that's coming through. Obviously, you got weather, you got players, we got COVID. Who knows? You might have some guys that miss. We just don't know. So that's why what you do is so, especially this day and time, it's so unique because before you used to have to worry about a guy with an ankle or a hammy. Now you got to worry about COVID, which can strike at any given point and can change a line literally just like that. So it's very unique what you're doing and how you do it. So, man, kudos to you, especially because you win a lot too. So it's not like you're out here just throwing out random picks and you don't know what you're talking about. You know what you're talking about. If not, you wouldn't be as successful as you are. So, but as far as the Tampa Bay New Orleans game, the styles, if Tampa can run the football, it all boils down to running. Because I feel like New Orleans and Saints can probably match up really well in the secondary. I get it, but if they can run the ball, if Leonard Fournette plays really good again, they got a shot. Now, it's hard for a team to beat a team three times in one season. Very hard to do. I don't think anyone's done that in quite some time. I think the Cowboys may have done that, I think in 2006, where they played Philly 2 times in the regular season, and then they beat them in the wild card or divisional round. I forgot what the situation was, but nevertheless, it's hard to do. I still like the Saints. I still like the Saints to win this game. That's just me picking from my gut with no information. Yeah. So that's just what I think.
Well, also, I have to go back and look at the injuries and people that may have been out during COVID during those games, because if they won the first 2 because of something like that, or they won the first 2 and they had some people out, then maybe they are just that much better. You know what I mean? So
and that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of information that still needs to be sorted out. But it is what it is. But hey, let me ask you this, and this is an NBA question. Now with that trade with Harden, now has that changed? Have you seen a lot of line movement? Anything have changed significantly?
Oh yeah, Vegas now has them as the second favorite to win the championship. And I mean, it's close. It's razor thin. I mean, they have the Lakers plus 260 to win the championship, and they have the Nets plus 270 now. So they basically have them as 1A and 1B to win the championship. I think that's ridiculous. I think Vegas has lost their mind. I wish, how stocks, you can short the stocks that it's going to go bad or whatever. I wish I could short this stock, because I don't think the Nets are anywhere close to championship this year. I think I have a name for this team. It's going to be all drama, no bite. All drama, no bite.
There you go, man. Hey, 2 weeks in a row, you're coming in with the nicknames, bro. I appreciate it, Mr. Dynamic. And now, what was it? What was it again? Run it back again.
All drama, no bite. That's the Nets nickname.
All drama, no bite. The Brooklyn Nets 2020-21 season. Yeah, man. That's funny though that they have them. Like razor. Who's the top? Lakers or Lakers number 1?
Yeah, Lakers.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but what do you think about that team? I mean, now with Harden on there.
I mean, it really depends on, if Kyrie Irving can, like, I don't know, not be a weirdo for a day. I mean, really, that's what it depends.
Right.
If Kyrie buys in and Harden, if Durant's able to, like, get those two to buy in and be the leader, and it's just a lot of hypotheticals, right? It's
Yes.
just if this, if that, if this. Well, at some point when you have so many hypotheticals, there's nothing to count on. So
Right.
I don't know what I can count on with them. They're gonna blow out a lot of crappy teams, and but I think
whose team is it? Who's the guy? Who's getting the last shot? If
it's
you're
got to
Steve
be
Nash,
Durant.
right?
Has
That's
to
what
be
I'm
Durant.
thinking. But I think that's going to pose a problem with James Harden because he's been the guy. So
yeah, it can't be. It can't. In fact, James Harden is the third to get the. It's got to be Durant or Kyrie Irving.
right.
In some ways, I would say Kyrie, but Durant's just more level-headed to me, so I would give it to Durant. But yeah, it's Durant or Irving. It's not Harden. Harden, I wouldn't let him even. In fact, I'd set him on the bench for the last 30 seconds of every game.
Right, because he's not playing no defense for sure.
Yeah, I'm not going to let him take the last shot.
Right. Daniel, I appreciate you, brother. Thanks for coming on. So we'll do this again next week, Wednesday. Next week, Wednesday, we'll be talking about the conference championship games.
And are you still coming on my show tomorrow? Or
yes, I will be on there with a bell, with bells and whistles, brother. You can count on me. So bells and whistles. Mr. Dynamic will make an appearance tomorrow on your show, brother.
All right.
But I appreciate you, man. So let everybody know where they can catch you at. I know Matthew Spates, who he wanted to reach out to you and let you know, maybe talk some business with you, man. So let him know where he can catch you.
Yeah. At. So just a D Sports Ledger on anything. On the letter D and then Sports Ledger on even YouTube. Even YouTube, you can find me just doing that. Right. A lot of people search Daniel Sports Ledger on YouTube, but you can just do D Sports Ledger, it will come up. So yeah, Instagram. I'm mostly on Instagram. It's the best way to reach me. But Twitter, Facebook, I'm on all those. So.
All right, appreciate it. Well, Matthew, hope you got that
podcast on YouTube that you'll be on tomorrow, Mr. Dynamic himself. So.
All right, Daniel, man, you have a good evening, man. Have a good night in Arizona, brother.
I'm honored. Thank you for having me on.
All right, man. Peace out. All right, man. So that's my guy, Daniel Cameron. He's going to be on the rest of the playoffs. We're going to be talking about some sports wagering for the NFL throughout the rest of the playoffs into the Super Bowl. And, he'll probably come back on and do some NBA and hockey because hockey just started tonight. Okay, great. Hockey, eh? For you Canadians. Well, not just Canadians because I like hockey. My Golden Knights play tomorrow. But so good show, man. We went through a lot of stuff tonight, man. Kyrie Irving situation, James Harden, like how that's going to work out. Man, so lot to take in. So appreciate you guys that were in the comments. Let me shout out everybody that was in the comments. Beck Richardson, appreciate you, girl. Holla, holla, holla. Matthew Spates, he always comes through, man, with that fire. Appreciate you, my dude. Charles Harris, thanks a lot, man. Make sure you guys hit that like and share, man. And I'll be back. Clutch Sports Talk Live will be back next week, Monday and Wednesdays. That's my normal time at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My next show that I'll be on live with will be the All Pro Access Show with my co-host, Jack Rimmer. We're going to be previewing the divisional games for the NFL playoffs. That show is going to go on Friday at 5 p.m. again. So just hit me up on Instagram at clutch.sports.talk and on Twitter at clutch_talk and YouTube. You'll get out all information if you want to catch that show. Like I said, or scrolling down on below. But man, hey, we're almost through, man. Hope you guys are having a great evening. Appreciate everyone that's been joining tonight. So other than that, I'm out of here. And so until next time, everybody, this is Clutch Sports Talk Live with me, Ryan Flowers. Never settle till the work is done. Good night, guys.